Hi, and welcome to the Bookkeepers Podcast. I'm here with Jo Wood. Hey, Jo, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know what? There's about a week left of the holidays, and it's been. Do you know what? I'm going to miss them when they go back to school.
Yeah.
It's been really nice just to have the kids around, and yeah, I don't know that I thought I was going to be saying that. I felt organised going into it, but
But maybe that's the key. Like you made a plan, didn't you? You made a plan on how the summer was going to be, and you've been really good with your boundaries, and you've really said, this is when I'm working. You've made time available every day when you knew that they would be tired after good fun, and you'd be able to give a bit of time at this certain time of day and things like that. I think you made a plan for it, and then the plans worked out, which go you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't always worked out, but I think it's worked for us, and I think there's lots to take from that. How about you? How's everything going with you? Because you sold your practice famously was it only a week ago? Was it 2 weeks ago?
Might have been 2 weeks, 15th. Yeah,
How's it
so
all
2 weeks
going?
ago. I know, where's it gone? It's been a whirlwind, and I feel like, I spent the last couple of weeks having conversations about the fact I've sold the practice, talking to clients, talking to staff members, kind of just helping people through the transition, but going through it myself, trying to think about what my life's going to look like in the future, and trying to, it's a transition, it's change, and there's part of me that feels like I'm grieving a bit for a practice that you build it. It's like another family member, a child, a baby, whatever you want to call it, and letting go of that. And especially because my family is still going to be involved and my team are involved in the new business, watching my husband on team calls that I'm not in is kind of oh my goodness, it's not easy. There's loads of positives, don't get me wrong, but anytime that there's change, it's you've got to work your way through it. So it's different at the moment. I'm in a little bit of tomorrow's the 31st, and that's officially the last day that I'm really in the business. I do have some more meetings next month, not loads, but some, and I'm very much still going to be involved in lead generation and sales. So I will be, still part of it in a way, but not operationally, no decision making. My bank account name has changed to the new business name. My company's house everything's changing. So it's a journey.
You did a really good live in the group about it, in the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club. So if you're interested about what happened, go and have a listen to that. I don't think we've really spoken about it on the podcast, Jo. Can I drop you in it? Can I ask you about it?
Yeah, go for it. Ask me.
I was like, we want to talk about Bookkeepers Bootcamp, which starts on the 5th of September. We're ready to go. For lots of you, I know it depends where you are in the country, but some of you, your children are back at school. Some of you don't have children to be thinking about anyway, but things have potentially slowed down for the holidays, and we were like, right, let's get everyone ready for autumn. Whatever you might see this as the new year, or you might just see it as the next quarter. Whatever it is for you, let's get you ready for this. Make the most of the end of the year. So we're going to talk to you about boot camp, but I think we should just explore this a little bit more, because I'd love to hear from you. And I knew what was happening behind the scenes, but tell me about how on earth did you get to a point of having an offer for your practice? I know you were on this journey, the business had changed and grown, and you were like, right, we need to change something now. And then suddenly it was like you had this offer, but I know it wasn't sudden. Tell me about what was going on then.
Yeah, so I had been thinking about the fact that what had got me here in business wasn't going to get me to the next step, and that actually my role was changing from maybe sales and operations and things like that, but to team leadership, and to remove myself and be more of the CEO, I had to become more of the leader and understand how everyone's personalities were working. How do I get the most out of my team? Whereas before, when you've got a very small team, it's like you've got so much more of a handle on things. But when the team gets bigger, you can't have that micromanagement. You can't micromanage. You have to have more of a step back and an overview. So I was having to learn about that. So I knew I didn't have that skill set. So we invested in a coach to look at how we get the business to the next level. And what was amazing, it was very like serendipitous, as in me and my sister were at having a strategy day, and earlier in the day I'd seen someone post, a coach post, saying, does anyone know any accountants? Have I got any friends with any accountants? And I said, oh yeah, me and other people, which I know I'm a bookkeeper, but you know what people mean, I knew them. And other people had tagged me in this post, and this lady reached out to me and she said, I am looking for people to work with. I work primarily with family-run businesses that are multi-six figures and don't know how to get to that next level. And I was like, is there a camera somewhere? Literally, me and my sister were just saying, how do we get to that next level? Mm-hmm. And my sister was freaked out. She was like, oh my goodness, we really need this lady. Like, she works with accountants in family businesses, helping them get to that next level. So we had a chat with her and we was like, yes, this is exactly what we needed. So we went to Oxford and spent the day with her, and she was like, okay, so like any good coach will do, what's the end look like? What are we trying to aim for? What's the point of knowing what we're going to do if we don't know where we're aiming for? And we had said that, one day we would like to sell, my sister has got family, I've got family, and we didn't envisage that this was going to be forever and ever. My sister's a writer as well, and she's always had this passion to be like really become a full-time author one day. So we was like, and obviously I've got a six-figure, so I was like, I'd love to be able to have that leverage of time. And so the coach said, why don't you go and do some research about what the business needs to look like in order to sell? And I reached out to Johan after Bev had sold her business to him last year, and I met him at the Digital Accountancy Show, and he just seemed like a decent fellow. And I just reached out on LinkedIn and said, can I pick your brains? And he said, yeah, let's jump on a call. And we did. We jumped on a call, and I had my list of questions about branding, about software, about practice management, about team. I was like, what does this need to look like? That needs to look like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And he kept saying that, well, that wouldn't matter. That's this. Oh, that wouldn't matter. It depends on the person that's buying it, blah, blah, blah. And the next day he made me an offer, which completely took my feet from under me, swept. I was like, what? That was not in my, I honestly did not have. And I think that's very true of all of us. When you're so much in it, you don't see the value of what you've created, maybe. From someone else's point of view. The other thing is, though, I had done a practice exit strategy course in November last year. I remember, I think it was at Accounting Web, and I had to go on a call, and I was doing this course, and the way they said that there's so many ways that you can value a business. And one of the ways that they did it was on EBITDA. And when I'd worked out how much my business was worth then back in November, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to keep working for quite a few years. This is not where I want it to be. But Johan measured it in a different way, which is more likely in this industry. And it was really attractive. So I had to really go through that process of thinking, is this actually what I want? Which it wasn't on the cards. So that's how I got there.
Yeah, that's tricky. And in terms of, I guess your sister and you had already decided that in the future you wanted to sell. So then it was discussing, well, actually, is this the right time? Is this too soon? Yeah. And you had a lot of people. How did conversations go generally with your team and the other shareholders in the business?
Yeah, so it wasn't automatically, this is definitely the best choice. We had to do our due diligence and figure out, is this what we wanted? Because it wasn't what we was planning on. If I'd have gone into that meeting looking for a sale, that would have been a very different, we'd have responded, but we weren't. So we had to really talk about what it meant for everybody in the future. And obviously it was, family members were shareholders, and, for everybody, it looked very different. So we had to talk about it. And also, like I said at the beginning, change is hard. Even if it's positive change is hard. So we needed to look at all of that. I couldn't tell any of my team. I couldn't tell any of my clients. I couldn't tell anybody, because you can't do that until the decision's made. So there was a few weeks of, chatting, you, my mum, my sister, the business coaches that I've got, Shirley Mansfield, and, we were chatting away and negotiating, and how would this work? Could we do this? Could we do that? Blah, blah, blah. It wasn't easy by any means. it wasn't like everyone was like, yeah, let's go for it. There was lots of, maybe this isn't right for us. Maybe we should look at something else. Should we carry on? The biggest thing that made me decide to do it sooner rather than later there was a couple of things really. Like my daughter, on the day we sold the business, 15th of August, my youngest turned 13, which was kind of poignant in the fact that I didn't have any children anymore, teenagers upwards, and I've worked all the time when they were little. Now, it's not that I'm going to stop working, but running 2 multi-six-figure businesses is big. It's a hard, it pulls on my time. So I do have less time for the kids. And that's felt really apparent recently. Also, the fact that I was going to have to go on a really big learning curve. Whatever happened in the business, something was going to have to change because I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. So there was going to be big change involved. And that big change to remove me 85% out of the business, which was the aim of the game, to become the true CEO, was going to take a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of change all around. So was it best to just have this big change and actually achieve pretty much the same? Yes, I'm removed 800%, but I'm also still part of Leeds. So am I a little bit still in the business? So very similar. Also with MTD coming up in the next 3 years, there'll be lots of accountants and bookkeepers that are reaching maybe retirement age or just don't want to deal with that change. And they will maybe be looking to sell their practices at that point to more like digital ready businesses. So if the market becomes more flooded with those kind, then the offering, so I could work really hard, remove myself 85%, get to that 3 years, the market be flooded and I end up with the same amount of money for all of that work in 3 years. And also what I've been doing a lot of is thinking, right, my daughter's 13, she'll be 16 then. My other daughter's 16, she'll be 19. My son will be 23. What will happen in that 3 years is a really big chunk of my children's lives that I needed to make that decision for. So they were the things that were pushing me to really take this seriously.
Something I really admire about you, Jo, is that you know what your values are and you really got them at the front all the time. And all that work you've done to project, where are we going to be as a family? How old are my children going to be? And like visualizing that and seeing that your business or whatever you're doing works around that shows how strong that value is and how you sort of hold that high. We do so much work with people in the success program, don't we, to get them aligned with what are their values in business and what are the goals for the future. And you're just showing this is how you actually do that when you're making decisions, thinking, well, this is my value. What does that actually mean for that? Okay, this is the right decision. It's helped you to decide.
It really has. And I don't think, and this is the thing, like me and you both benefit from the Success Lounge, from what we do, because when you teach something, it embeds it more into yourself. So you might know something, but to live it is a different thing. So by the fact that we're constantly teaching and talking about it, we have to live by what we say. And yeah, it has really helped. And it's going to also not just help me make that decision at that moment in time, but now it's going to help me really decide on what my life looks like going forward. So like this weekend, usually I'm maybe recording videos for management accounts, or I've got some proposals that I've got to finish, or a project that I might, I usually wake up at the weekend and think, what's something I can do like this morning while everyone, because they're all teenagers, they're all sleeping. I get some nice quiet time then. I get to pick and choose, and that's usually the time. But do you know what I did instead? For me, one of the things, break down family and as a value, something that's really important to me is feeding everyone. Like it's just my love language is feeding everyone. So this weekend I did things like clean out my fridge and did a massive food shop and then did some cooking, and that lifts me up. And that's the kind of thing, because it can be really scary when you think you're going to have some time available. And yes, I still need to earn money. It's not, I'm not swimming off into the sunset. I need to earn money. But also I need to find that balance, because I know if my soul is fed and that I will be better and I'll be more productive, and the leveraging of my time and everything will be better. So I'm at the moment thinking, what have I been missing out on? And it is those basics of just just before the podcast, I went and cleaned 2 sinks in my house, and I'm just like, it's just feeling, I just feel happy, like, because I just feel that I'm not so pressured. It's not that I'm not going to be, we've been talking about what we've got coming up September, October. We've got loads going on. It's just about making a choice about where my focus is at different parts of the day. And I've needed it. It's been a bit too busy. So everyone will benefit I know everyone's, because Johan's an amazing leader, and I'd have had to go on a 3-year journey to do that. And because of what we do here, I've got other things I really want to do. And I'm not sure if it was really my passion to do that.
Yeah. So that where you wanted to invest the next few years of time, or actually do you want to do something else that needs your attention? So then my final question, I suppose, about this is like, what's next for you? Obviously, it means that we have more time for Six Figure Bookkeeper, but we've also had conversations about, actually, we think we're putting in the right kind of time. Like, we've done quite a lot of work over since the beginning of this year, refilming the 6-month success program, bringing it all up to date. We're going to have a physical manual, a guide to go alongside it. A workbook is the word I was looking for. We've refilmed the startup program. We've got an exciting collaboration to talk about soon about that as well. We've got a lot of things in the really good place, and we want to support more people now. Like, we know how this business works, and yes, there's more of you, but we don't want to make it so that this business becomes just a replacement, a filler of your time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's, we don't want to get into that point either where we're just so comfortable. We always have to be pushing ourselves and doing something. So what's really next is, at the moment, because we're in the summer holidays, life's looking a bit different. And what I've been doing is really looking at the people around me and what I want to do. So for my 13-year-old, she's homeschooling. She's at an online school, and Mondays for her are back to back. She has like so many lessons in the day, and then she's got clubs in the evening. And also Mondays, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to have Mondays off? Like, that would feel like freedom. So I've decided Mondays are going to be like my batch cooking day, my food shopping day, while I'm supporting my daughter, while she's, while I'm dropping her off at clubs and things. I can be really present for her, but also just reset, like my Monday reset. I'm thinking everything in the house. And then we're going to do Six Figure Things Wednesdays and Fridays and Tuesdays, because I'm going to be doing leads for the business. I'm going to mostly be working a bit more on like trying to do my own socials, and still going to be really much in like marketing and sales and doing that. But what I like about it is that they're not deadlines. It's not, I have to produce this amount then. So I'm going to do that. But I've also got some courses that I've invested in that I need to do some work on, and, have some of that time and figure out what it is that's going to, then maybe there's like a book in me, I think, maybe with this whole process. I want to walk the dog more. I want to cook more dinners. I want to be better, prepare more for birthday parties. The other aim is like, we want to go on a 3-week family holiday next year in August. So that's going to take planning and organising. So yeah, I don't know. There will be something else, but we've got so much. Like we're going to a Wrexham meetup in September. We've got a Countex. We're talking at the Entrepreneurs Marketing Conference. We've got a photo shoot. We've also got video in London. We've got quite a lot coming up. So I need to do some clothes shopping as well. So I need some outfits. So there's quite a lot coming up over the next couple of months. And I'm going on like a retreat in Jersey in October. So there's lots coming up for the next couple of months. So I'm not going to start anything brand new. I'm just going to kind of figure out what I want the flow to be. I want to add yoga to my daily routine, things like that. And self-care, family. And then once I've filled it up with all of those things, what time do I have available? Because I'll be really filled up and I'll be really productive in those hours.
Oh, that's amazing. I think that, and anyone listening to this thinking, oh, I wish I had Mondays off and Tuesdays and Thursdays do this and this. Even if you decide you want to make yoga one of the things in your day, how can you get a little bit of that now? Because I think we spend so much time planning for like the future, but now is happening now. And so what can we do now to get a little bit of it?
And that is it, isn't it? I mean, some of the things I've mentioned are not big, like food shopping and like literally my yoga practice is like 10 to 15 minutes. It's about having the mindset to incorporate it and make it a priority, isn't it? It's not about, and I am going to end up with time to be able to do something. I just know what I'm like because I get shiny object syndrome. If I go down a path of thinking this is the new thing, then my time will be, I've just learned from myself that my time will get filled up with other things and I will go to the back of the list and family will always become before me. So I need to make sure I'm in this list somewhere before I fill it up.
Oh, Jo, I love that. I mean, you're preaching to the converted. I got a Costco card yesterday, so, you know, my life's complete too.
I love that. Love that. Oh, dear.
Well, let's talk about bootcamp. Oh, Jo mentioned our Wrexham meetup. If you want to come to the Wrexham meetup, there are tickets available. You'll need to follow a web. If you go to sixfigurebookkeeper.com and click on courses at the top, it will take you to a page where you can find a ticket for the Wrexham meetup. We're also speaking at EMC, the Entrepreneurs Marketing Conference, the day after Accountex Manchester, where you can see us as well. Basically, there's like a week of us on tour. It's like in 2 weeks' time. But if you're in Brighton and you can get to EMC, it's a really good event. If you can get to Manchester and go to Accountex, it's a free event. And if you want to come to Wrexham and hang out with, there's about 25 bookkeepers and accountants coming to that. You're very welcome. You can get a ticket. It's really easy. Okay, let's talk about bootcamp, because you know what? Some of the things you were talking about just now, Jo, where you were talking about you and Marie, your sister, talking about getting to the next level. And then you saw this advert for somebody who said they would help you get to the next level and they were for family businesses. What she had done was she had niched and she had a very clear ideal client audience, which you related to, and she used the language of her ideal client by talking about getting to the next level. And this is the power of knowing your ideal client. And one of the things that we talk about in our 4-step RISE framework is your ideal client, and it's something that we'll be talking about at bootcamp. So if you want to learn how you can have someone can go, oh my gosh, how did they like read my mind? You need to know how to do this, and we'll be talking about it in bootcamp. Bookkeepers Bootcamp starts on the 5th of September. It runs through till the 8th. We're going to have sessions, 3 sessions a day, 11 a.m., 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. We're experimenting with that 5 p.m. time. It used to be 8. I think we've done a 6:30 before. It's going to be 5 o'clock. We're trying to work out how it's best with children's bedtimes and day, like work in the day and things like that. So we'll try it at 5 this time. We've tried to break the week down because we know that in this community, which is growing so much, and if you're not a member of the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club yet, come and join us. There's about 17,000 members in that group now. Bookkeepers and accountants, all really ambitious, wanting to grow their businesses, there to sort of support each other in this safe community. We'll be streaming into that group. And we know that in that group, there are people from all sorts of backgrounds, different experiences. Maybe you've been in practice forever, or you're new to practice, or you're new even to bookkeeping, or you've been growing your business for a long time and you've got a team and you're at multi-6 figures already. Everyone adds a different viewpoint to that group. So you're all so valuable and welcome. And we want to make sure we've got sessions that help you wherever you are in business, because we do support startups. We have a startup program, but we also support growing businesses who are working towards 6 figures or who are at multi-6 figures with teams. We're here for you. You know, there are people at all stages in the community. So Tuesday the 5th is going to be our kind of startup day. We're going to do a session about starting a bookkeeping practice. We're speaking to Osman Sharif, who's an amazing mindset coach. He's going to come on and talk to us about your goals. And then we've got a session about our RISE framework. On Wednesday the 6th, we're talking to Dave Shannon, who's one of our bookkeepers in the community. Dave changed careers to start his bookkeeping practice, and he's just gone from strength to strength. So I can't wait to have a chat with Dave. We're going to do a session at 1 o'clock about growing a bookkeeping practice. So if you have been going for a while and you're thinking, right, how do I get bigger? This is for you. We've got a RISE framework session at 5 o'clock on the 6th. And then on Thursday the 7th, we're speaking to Katie Skelton. Katie is she calls herself an email geek or a massive email geek or something. She's all about email marketing, and she's lovely, and she'll and you might not be doing email marketing in your practice. It's something to think about if you're growing and you've got people who want to hear from you regularly and sort of stay engaged with you. But everything that we'll be talking about, I think, is very relevant for general marketing in your practice as well. So it'll be good to hear from Katie. We're also doing a session at 1 o'clock about how to get from 50k to 100k, because I know that's the starting is of lots of people sort of get started and then they get to like 10, 30k, that sort of level. And then they're like, there's this it's what you said about how do we get to the next level? It's that next stage of, because you're at that point where you need to start thinking about, I can't do all the work now, I need to bring someone in. So we'll do a session on how to get from 50 to 100k, and then we're talking about our RISE framework in the afternoon at 5 o'clock. And then on Friday the 8th, we are talking about setting boundaries with clients and family when you're working from home, which, you know, we work from home, and, you know, everyone, and I've had my kids running around, you know, we've had meetings today, kids have been running around, they were in a meeting with us earlier. How do you do that? How do you make it work from a practical level? And how do you make sure you haven't got your clients WhatsApping you at all hours or feeling that's okay? We're going to speak to Emma James from the Number Ninja, who's one of our bookkeepers, at 1 o'clock. And then we finish on Friday at 5 o'clock with a session about our RISE framework, although I think I might have changed it to something more juicy, but you'll just have to wait for the schedule, which we will email out and we'll share in the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club as well.
Yeah, so you need to get registered for Bookkeepers Bootcamp. So to register, you need to go to bootcamp.scoreapp.com. Can you share that? No?
I can share it. Yeah, give me a sec. I'll put that on.
No worries. And if you go there, you can register, and then that means that you'll be sent the schedule. You'll be reminded when sessions are coming up. You'll be able to know how to go and get the replays if you can't turn up live. But really, honestly, the people that turn up live to bootcamp are the people that have massive breakthroughs, who change their businesses forevermore. The amount of times, I cannot tell you how many people say they remember the month, the year they turned up at bootcamp and how it changed their life forever. And that was because they were engaged, they, you know, getting in the comments, you know, talking to us, asking questions, joining in the competitions that we, you know, that we'll be sharing, all of that stuff. You really do get out of it what you put in. Someone's asked, will Success Lounge members have bootcamp replays on the Thinkific dashboard?
I'm sure we can make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, if you're a member, we can give you access to.
There will be replays as well. You know, if you we think it's best to join live because you've got all the people around you, and we'll ask you questions, and you'll be inspired by seeing what other people share in the comments while you're there live. But we will make sure replays are available, because we know, like, if you're working, maybe you're at the moment employed and you're thinking, I'd love to start a business, but I don't even know where to start. I had a chat with someone today. She's got an accountancy background, but she hasn't worked in practice, and she's thinking, I'd like to start, but I've got all these thoughts. I need to just get all my thoughts out, and then we'll work out what to do. And I think that being in those, if you're employed and you're thinking, I want to start up, you really want to hear this, but you might not be able to join everything. So they will be available in the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club to catch on replay. We usually make them available for a limited time. So my expectation is they'll probably go on the 14th of September. So about a week after boot camp, they'll probably be removed. But we'll make that all clear when we start next week.
Yeah, the best way is, I think, as well, because if you're watching live and the comments are coming in real time, you can link the comments and what people are saying to what's being said. I think sometimes when you watch on replay, the comments don't, and actually it's not just what me and Zoe are saying, it's what people are adding to the conversation from the community that really adds so much value. So yeah, even like make a plan now, figure out what sessions can you turn up to live, what sessions are you going to watch on replay, and how are you going to fit that into your diary so that you have done all that, because it really can be life-changing. So
do you know, I had it in front of me. There was an email we got the other day from somebody, and she said, it might have been from Vishali, and she said, I went along and then I couldn't not be part of this community, and It's a really great week. It's a whole week of it. It's amazing.
It's going to set you up to finish 2023 as strong as possible, because I think we're all feeling, like Zoe said, like summer is coming to the end. I definitely can feel it in the weather today. We're feeling that there's a change of season, and we can, we have a choice. We can think, well, that's it. I've done what I can do this year. I'm just going to plod along. Or we can give it this massive push at the end, change our mindset, make the most of it, and go into 2024 thinking, wow, what a great year I've just had. And we will support you with that if you're up for it.
Totally. So go and register, bootcamp.scoreapp.com. We'll share some details on our email list. Once you've registered for Bootcamp, you'll get all of that. So you'll hear everything that's coming up. And we'll see you there. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.
Bye.